The Wall Street Journal has called it the least likely star to emerge from the Netflix series House of Cards. It's the water rowing machine. It's credited in part for what's been described as a surge of interest in the sport of rowing. But the sport, which can be traced back to ancient Egypt, isn't just for Hollywood dramas, college athletes, or Olympic hopefuls. For one Rochester group, rowing is about inclusion, connecting with the community, and healing. And forget about the water rower. They're getting veterans and individuals with disabilities out on the water to experience the power of rowing. Joining me from Rochester Community Inclusive Rowing to share more is co-founder Tim Giarrusso, rower and U.S. Navy veteran Jen Mason, co-founder Dennis Fraunheiser, and rower and U.S. Marine Corps veteran Richard Sirianni. And welcome to all of you, and thanks for being here. So to begin, Tim, how would you, for people that are unfamiliar with the term inclusive rowing, this is new to them, how would you describe it or define it?
Well, quite often rowing has been viewed as an exclusive sport, one that requires access to a lot of money, maybe a lot of other resources that people would have. What we're focused on is removing barriers to rowing, whether they're financial or physical or mental, and creating a space where it's safe for people to come and participate and really benefit from what we view as a lifelong sport.
And this idea was birthed about 4 years ago, I understand. Right. So Dennis, how did you determine that there was an interest for rowing in this community, for veterans in particular?
I'm a U.S. rowing referee and official, so I get to view rowing all over the United States. And one of the things that I saw in the larger communities, the places where rowing is more established, is not only are the established schools and clubs very active in rowing, but they reach out to their community in many ways. When I came back to Rochester, I saw that this outreach had not yet started here. So Tim and I, in our activities, realized that this was a need and thought that we could do something about it.
So I love watching rowing, but I'm extremely intimidated. I don't think I could just get in the boat. It seems like a sport that requires a great bit of endurance. And so I'm curious for you, for Jen and for Richard, was this an easy sell, to get out there and try this? Had this been something that had interested you? Or did you have any hesitations? What was it about it that made you say, yeah, let's give it a try?
I had no hesitation. I was asked if I wanted to try rowing.
Yeah.
And being in a wheelchair, I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to row. And being out there on the water, anybody can row. These guys can teach anyone how to row within 10 minutes. And you can row light or you can row hard. You can have a day where you're out there and you're just breezing through the day and you get back to the dock and you feel like, oh, I didn't really do much, but I had a blast. Or you can go out and you can sweat. As long as you want to sweat, row as hard as you want to row. And when you get back, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
What about for you, Richard?
For myself, it was quite a challenge to actually begin this. It was one of the only sports that was open for me to start trying last summer. And in my head, I was just like, this is something new, and it's something that, as Tim said, it was a very exclusive sport. So I really didn't feel like I belonged to it, let alone trying to get out with a new group and to have the civilians out there actually trying to teach me instead of having it just be military. I had a real negative mindset about it, but actually one of my counselors kind of just said, you need to go do this. You signed up to do it, stick to your commitment. And by the end of the first day, I was hooked, I was in love, and I'm kind of an addict for rowing now.
Yeah. So what happens then when you're out on the water? Or do you remember what that first experience was like? I'm curious as to what is it about it that you enjoy and that you connect with?
For me, I feel like I'm at one with the water. My disabilities are gone. I can get in the boat and row, and I leave all my issues out on the water. It's so peaceful and serene, and it's an amazing, amazing sport.
Yeah, for me, I love being out there, just like Jen said, the peacefulness that you can find when you're out there. We can go out for an hour, and sometimes I go out for an hour. I don't know I've been out there because I've just been off in my own little la-la land, kind of daydreaming, but yet we've still had a magnificent row where everybody's working as one. And that's another part too, like the camaraderie that we have, whether it's, an all-veteran boat or usually when we start, two, like Tim and Denny will be in the boat, another volunteer, and then like one of us that is learning to row. And the way they teach, it's very gentle, it's very soft, it's very unlike anything military. nobody's screaming, nobody's yelling, and I didn't know how to really take that direction at first. It was kind of overwhelming to have people talking nicely to me. And I'm like, what are they trying to say? Can we get a little like rasp in the voice, a little bit, DI tone going? And,
Yeah, he wanted to be the Marine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how I've read quotes, I've read statements from veterans in particular who have been a part of this program, and I hear this phrase come up more than once. This is life changing.
Right.
How is it life changing? And I would like for you guys to weigh in, because you explained to me before. This is helping veterans in particular dealing with PTSD.
Right. Specifically, back to your point around inclusion, one of the things of how we teach is the participants active in helping us understand how to better communicate. And really over the course of 2 years, we've started to understand more about PTSD because it's not been part of my life. And through research and through professional rehab specialists, we've started to understand when the brain is injured and the diagnosis of PTSD takes place, the 3 spheres of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, where memories are stored, and then the amygdala, where your fear and survival instincts are. When the brain's injured in PTSD, those don't work together well. When we go out on the water, what we've started to connect and understand is that in the span of 3 seconds of a stroke, you're at risk, you're vulnerable, the boat's a little tippy, then all of a sudden you're connected and you're powerful, and then in the next second you're relaxed and gliding. And that happens 500, 600, 700 times while they're out rowing. So we're starting to see some connection. I think some of the progress that Rich and Jen are experiencing is because of that concentrated time of being with people, yet still experiencing that. It's helping to create some healing and some peace.
One thing I want to point out, and I want viewers to understand about this, is, and you told me this was not about creating another rowing group.
Correct.
This was about really filling a need, but also bridging, bringing together the community with those who are rowing, with veterans. And I want to kind of get ideas to what's next for that. And are you at capacity, or are you open to more people, getting involved?
Right. Well, again, and I think I shared this with you before the show, we've had tremendous support from the various clubs around the community, helping us get going and understanding and building our model and our processes. We really are at capacity now, so our intention now is to build a rowing center where we can expand this. We can start working with more groups, people with autism, people with other disabilities. And that's really our goal now, is to create a focused center where the community can continue to extend the outreach and bring in more veterans and more people that could benefit from this approach.
Well, we have to close for now, but I want to say a special thank you to my guests, Jen Mason, R.J. Sirianni, Dennis Fraunheiser, and Tim Giarusso. And there are opportunities to get involved with the Rochester Community Inclusive Rowing as a member, as a volunteer. So you can go to rochestercommunityrowing.org to learn more. And this segment was part of WXXI's Move to Include, a partnership of WXXI and the Golisano Foundation, working with the community to lead change toward the inclusion of people with intellectual and physical disabilities. So give us your thoughts on what you just heard. Visit movetoinclude.org.